Hey guys, welcome to day 68 of my carnivore journey. And I want to cover a couple things in this video. I think it's important. And I don't think it's something that really gets discussed enough when people talk about like the journey of dieting. And it's just aspects that I have observed. Because again, as a professional yo-yo dieter over, decades, I can tell you that this pattern is very true no matter what diet you're on. But this mostly is going to focus on obese and morbidly obese people like myself. If you are watching this and you're like on the carnivore journey, I know there's a couple of you that it's not so much about weight, but about health. So this isn't going to probably apply to you very much. And it could in a way, but let me kind of cover what I had today for dinner, and then I, and then if you want to maybe not listen to the rest, I'm going to try to keep the video short. So you might want to, if you're not an obese person and you're just doing this for health, but it might apply. Anyways, so today wise, um, I've did pretty good. Again, I tend to have most of my days are fairly solid. Um, I don't have a lot of problems as far as like feelings with achiness and bowel problems. Because for the most part I'm on that carnivore interstate, as I like to say now. So I'm on the interstate, the carnivore interstate, and I'm not in the fast lane, which is like the lion diet, and I'm not in the slow lane. It's like a 4-lane highway or interstate, right? The fast lane is like that, you know, lion diet, and then the slow lane would be like your dirtiest carnivore, right? Maybe even like a ketovore. And right next to the fast lane would be your BBB and E, and then in between that and the slow lane would be like your dirty BBB and E, like with some dairy. And like I said, the slow lane would be even more like condiments and spices and a lot more dirt. But all on that highway, eventually you'll probably get to your goal, whether it's the slow lane or the fast lane, whichever lane you choose, right? And then you have like your, you can dip off the interstate and sometimes take a local highway, like a 2-lane highway, and that could be like a couple lanes of or keto, right? A keto, or maybe ketovore or something, or well, I would just say keto, because since the slow lane on the carnivore industry is kind of like ketovore, I would say the 2-lane state highway would be like the couple levels of keto you could do, like the pure sort of whole food keto version, um, or the slow lane in the keto state highway would be maybe like your dirty keto, where you're still using like store bought products that are keto friendly and all that other stuff, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just going off on this whole analogy thing. Sorry, I'm wasting time. So, but on this interstate journey, like I'm still on this carnivore journey. So for the most part, I feel pretty good, like consistently. Um, that was up until today. So, and I'm going to explain why. Because today I thought I would dip my toe into keto. Because I wanted to like just see, because what I'm starting to do is I want to start looking at what is my future going to be, right? What is my future going to be? Because am I always going to just continue doing like BBB and E with a few things thrown in every once in a while? Or, I've been thinking about the possibility of, you know, doing keto in the future and things like that. So I kind of wanted to dip my toes in there. And what I mean by is, so today what I did is I made a pound of ground beef. I flavored it with my taco seasonings. Now I do omit a few seasonings that I normally would put in my taco meat, but I don't want to add those into, because the last time I made taco meat, things were fine. I only used a few select ingredients to give it that taco flavor, but not maybe the full seasoning group I would normally use. Um, but I just wanted to go with the products I know I've already introduced in the past and that I haven't had any problems with. So I made my taco meat, added some cheese, and I wanted to try. I saw when I was at the store, I found these like cheese tortillas that were keto friendly, and it was like one net carb per shell. So I thought, okay, let me try. Like they're pretty small. They were like the small, almost like street taco size. And I thought, well, let me try that and see how that goes. And I'm just gonna have three of them because I didn't want to overdo it. And I figured, hey, three net carbs, still low in the keto world and things. So that's it. The only foreign thing was really those. And so I had my three tacos, but then I also just once I had the three tacos, I didn't want to keep eating more of them. So what I did was I just took the rest of the taco meat, put on the plate, put some cheese on it, and that's what I ate. Um, and I really don't even have a picture. I had like a picture of like the meat, cheese, but it's not even worth showing you guys. It's kind of dumb, you know. So don't worry about it. It's nothing breakthrough. Um, so here's the thing. So I ate all that, but I didn't fully finish the pound of meat. I would say I probably ate 80% of the pound. And then like I said, with the cheese and the tortilla shells and stuff. And for a snack, I actually had two hard-boiled eggs that I bought from the gas station. And like the one gas station I was telling you guys about before. And then I also they had this little for like $1.30. There was about I want to say 8 pieces of salami, like Genoa salami, and then there was 8 pieces of provolone. It was just like this little package. $1.30. I was like, oh, meat and cheese. I was feeling pretty hungry. Or around like, and it was pretty late though. It was like 4 o'clock, so I had been fasting quite a while. So I ate the two eggs and that, and then I had that like 80% of taco meat with cheese and those three tortillas. That's pretty much my full day of food, and then of course coffee. Um, but I can tell you this. Remember a few weeks back when I ate the 3 cookies and I tried sugar again, and then I told you guys about the effects of that. Well, so what I noticed was, again, I've been feeling very consistent. So I don't feel like this is like a placebo effect. And let me tell you why. Because I wanted these tortillas to work out. I wanted to say, you know what? From time to time, when it's a taco night, I want to be able to have a product that I can eat that only gives me a few carbs, net carbs, and it's not going to totally mess me up. So I wanted these to be like, I wanted them to work because I love tacos. Out of every food I've sort of parted ways with, tacos is something I absolutely love. I mean, I've been working on. I told you guys before. I was working on a taco recipe for over 20 years that I've been tweaking and perfecting, and I got to where I love my tacos and my family and stuff. So I thought, hey, um, and also if you guys remember, I did those egg white sort of tortillas, and they weren't all that good. But I found a new egg wrap type thing. I think it's going to be even better. I just don't have those products because they're actually made more with the egg white powder, and it seems like those are. I guess they come out with better texture, better flavor, all that stuff. So I really am curious to try those. because I really want to get tacos down. But anyways, so these keto friendly tortilla shells that had cheese in them and stuff or whatever. Don't even worry about the brand. I don't even want to promote them. But let me tell you, flavor wise, they were great. They were great. Just like a lot of the tasty poison out there, it's designed to taste good. So it actually did. It actually tasted good. I have to say, I can't lie. I enjoyed them. Man, these 3 tacos are good. And I almost wanted to keep going with the shells, but I'm like, oh, I better not. I better just, I don't want to push it. I noticed when I got done, I was bloated again. Like, it was not just the full feeling, it was a little bit of bloat. Now, I don't want to say I was just like, oh God, but it was just that slightly uncomfortable, but it wasn't too bad. And then it stayed that way for a while. I would say probably a good hour and a half, where normally, as you guys know, I do a lot of these videos like 15 minutes to 30 minutes after dinner. And normally I'm telling you guys like, hey, I feel solid right now. I was, I ate till I was stuffed, but then that feeling goes away in like 10, 15 minutes. This time I felt fairly uncomfortable, stuffed. Again, not too bad. I don't want you guys to think I was just like, oh God, but it definitely felt, you could feel it for like an hour and a half. I'm like, God, when is this going to go away? And finally it started to subside. But about a half hour as I was doing my job, my night job, I'm driving down the interstate and I just get these sharp aches and pains in the same joint areas like I was feeling when I had sugar. Except there was no sugar buzz, there was none of those side effects. But I was getting the achiness start, and some of them like caused me to literally have these cringy faces. I was like, ugh, like, oh God. I was like, what the hell? And it was like this aching attack for a good 10, 15 minutes, just off and on. And I'm like, oh God dang. Finally everything settled down. The achiness, and then my stomach finally settled down, like I said, after about an hour and a half. So I was actually really disappointed because I thought, well, I mean, come on, it was 3 taco shells that like 3 net carbs. Yes, I know there's probably some other chemicals in there, but it's like, in a way, I was disappointed because I thought maybe I found a solution to something. And then I was thinking to myself, is that really though? Is that really a solution? Or am I just trying to push the boundaries again? Is this really the best thing to do? So I'm going to pursue more of that other egg white recipe. It's not going to be anytime soon because the egg white powder and stuff, it's like pretty expensive for me right now. And I just don't really have the extra income right now. I have money, it's just I just don't want to spend it on that right now because I'm trying to keep up with the normal cost of everything. But that is going to be a future plan. So anyways, to kind of get to the overall, I wanted to share that with you guys. And now to get to the point, I'm trying to make this video not too long, but getting fat again. So there's going to come a point, especially if you're morbidly obese or obese, whatever you want to call yourself. When you're a fat ass like me, you're going to have these checkpoints. Okay. It's going to come and go, and you need to be able to recognize it. Now, some of you may not have experienced this before, or maybe you did, you just didn't think about it, but that's why I'm here. And that's why I try to point out things that aren't always talked about in these up and down roller coaster journeys. And that is the feel good moments. So you guys remember I just weighed in after that clean week, right? This past Monday. I lost 31 pounds. And this was, I was in a moment Monday and even Tuesday when I felt like Tuesday in the daytime. when I felt really good. Because remember, Monday, my first night eating after my clean week, I wanted to have those salmon patties. And even though they're not real dirty, they're it's fish, it was really good and it didn't really um oh, excuse me. And it didn't really affect me much Tuesday morning, whatever. I felt really good. But knowing I lost 31 pounds, but like I actually felt thinner. See, there's when you're losing weight, sometimes you're like, I know I'm losing weight, but I still feel fat. I still feel super overweight. And it's hard to get through that at first. And then finally you get to this breakthrough moment where you actually feel thinner. Even though you're still whatever weight, but I was 30 pounds lighter and I actually felt lighter, if that makes sense. I felt thinner. My stomach felt smaller, all this stuff. And it's like you just get this false confidence, though. This is where you have to be careful. Because then, if you noticed, Tuesday night, what did I end up doing? I ended up having a carnivore pizza, ate half of it. So then Wednesday night, I ate the other half. And then Thursday, I had those pizza burgers. And, yes, the pizza burgers weren't probably as bad as maybe the pizzas. They're all on the Carnivore Interstate. They're all interstate approved. It's just really puts you in the slow lane, if you know what I mean. And, and what it was is I had started to get more comfortable again because I hit that phase of, hey, I lost 31 pounds. I feel thinner. So I can loosen up a little bit and come off some of the restrictions I've been doing and just sort of add some dirt back into things. And, I deserve it, right? I did good and, I want to add some more stuff and why not? I'm doing good. A little dirt won't hurt. I mean, I'm still in the carnivore, high interstate. And even tonight. So if you look at this week, I really laid back a little more because of that false sense of security. And it happens. And a lot of times I remember this, what also happens in my other diets when I would loosen up and I would treat myself. And then maybe I would even make an exception and say, you know what, I can have a cheat day. Because I've lost weight, I can absorb it. I can take the hit. And then that cheat day leads to more and more. Eventually, I just fall off the wagon. And here's another reason why. So I'm going through the aches and pains from the few carbs that I took in, right? Those tortilla shells, I started getting those aches and pains. I got to the gas station. Okay, remember, it's the same gas station I told you guys I really can't avoid, and I get the discount on gas, and I can't pay at the pump because the card I use doesn't work at the pump. But I'm standing in line. I went in, I got my coffee. Okay, because I couldn't make my own coffee. That's why my video is late tonight. I was running behind again today. Couldn't even make my own coffee at home. I had to take my coffee cup and I had to get it at the gas station. I'm standing in line. I'm having these aches and pains. And guess what my mentality was? I look over and I see the same freshly baked Subway cookies, the ones I fell off the wagon a few weeks for. And they were sitting there. There was 3 in a package, the only ones left. You could tell how nicely baked they weren't. You could tell they were nice and soft. And my mentality was, hey there, fatty. Remember, you got aches and pains right now from those tortillas. So, you know what? Why don't you get the cookies? It's just going to be noise on noise. At this point, why not? You deserve it, right? Have the cookies now. Enjoy those now. While you're already aching, you already kind of broke that achiness seal. And I almost did it. I didn't, guys. Didn't fall for that. Because I look at it like the tortillas, yeah, it gave me the achiness, but I'm still on the interstate. Okay. And had I ate those cookies, that would have been falling off the wagon again. And then once you fall off the wagon a couple times, it's over, I think, in my opinion. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So I have to fight through these things. That's why I share these things with you guys. So where does the getting fat again part come in? Well, this is the part that I'm telling you about. This is the flip side. So there's going to come another stage probably after this when you feel good, you're feeling thinner, and who knows? It could be like maybe you decide to break out some older clothes. So maybe you went from that 4X to a 3X or 3X to a 2X or 5X to a 4, whatever it is, 7X to a 6, whatever. You come down and you put on that 3X and you're like, hey, this isn't bad. It's not tight. It's okay. Maybe that could be a trigger. Maybe you keep the same clothes, but for some reason one day you feel a little bloated or whatever, but you're going to feel this phase. It's like the opposite effect of feeling thin. You're going to feel fat again. Even though technically you may not have gained weight, but you're just going to wake up one day. You're just going to feel like you'll feel your gut. You'll feel your belly. You'll feel your fat. You'll just feel it on your body and you're just going to feel fat. Like just more than normal. Okay. And you're just going to be like, wow, and it can derail you sometimes because again, you can feel discouraged and all those things. And that's why I like to bring this stuff up because instead of feeling like you're failing and you're like, God, I'm just so fat still. And blah, blah, blah. What's the point of trying? Remember, you need to turn that mentality around and you need to say, wait a minute, this is my body reminding me, hey, I'm still fat. Yes. But if you want to feel what we just felt, but on another level, let's keep going. Let's break through this fat barrier. And then once we feel thin again, we probably will have lost another 20 or 30 pounds. Okay. So there's going to be these stepping stones that your body is just going to tell you and give you certain signals. And that's why I wanted to, not a lot of people talk about this. They just talk about plateaus and all this other crap. I'm trying to talk about real, like how I feel about this stuff mentally and like, what I've recognized over the years of yo-yo diet. It doesn't matter what the diet is. The difference is, yes, carnivore is a great diet and you feel full, you feel satisfied. But as far as progression and all that stuff, it's going to be similar and you're going to experience those things. So if you come across it, some of you may not have ever have experienced that. So you may start to experience those things and be like, what the hell? But hopefully you've watched this video and I hope it helps some of you out there to think about when those things happen, to be reminders and not in a negative way, but to turn around and say, yeah, I do feel fat. That means that's a sign to keep going. Okay. Don't ever think you're a failure. Keep going, keep fighting, stay strong. Okay, guys. I mean, seriously, we'll get there. And I'm going to keep, as long as you guys want to keep following me on this journey, I'm going to see how far we can get. I mean, I would love one day I would just love to, be able to fit in some clothes of a smaller size, Um, I mean, I've got some old clothes in there that go back to extra large. There was a time when I could fit, sometimes I could almost fit into a large depending on the shirt. But I was always sort of like bulky from like strength, from muscles and things. I had some pretty good guns on me and, chest and all that. So, I mean, a lot of times, and I didn't like wearing tight shirts when I was in shape. I'm not one of those type of people. So a lot of times I just wore like an extra large. That way it'd be, comfortable. But there was some shirts that were large, and now, to be honest with you, I'm wearing a 4X. Just to kind of let you know, I'm wearing a 4X, and you know, there's a few shirts I have that are 3Xs that fit okay, but I haven't tried yet to push myself for 2X yet. So I'm not worried about that yet. But anyways, guys, this has been a long video, but I hope that the length of this video was actually worth it for you guys, because I really wanted to tell you about my experience with taking in a few carbs and how it made me feel, which honestly I'm a little disappointed, because on one hand, I kind of like, well, what am I going to do in the future if I try to do? Because my thought was that I'd try to go more toward keto after this. But it's almost like my body is saying, dude, I like eating this clean carnivore way. I don't know. Maybe, but here's one thing I will tell you. Like, you can't just give up on keto right away, because remember, that's just one product. There's other parts of keto that I might introduce that one thing later. Now, I'm not going to introduce something new tomorrow, because I got to purge this feeling. Once I get clean again, like clean feeling, then I can get another product and maybe introduce that one product and say, how does this make me feel? And if I find something keto, maybe like a clean pizza sauce that I make. It's just basically like tomato and garlic, which garlic I handle well. There's also I actually use a quarter stick of melted butter in my pizza sauce. I use it in place of olive oil, believe it or not. Um, or I will also use a couple spoonfuls of melted bacon grease to replace that. And then salt and stuff. So it's a very clean sauce. Oh, and a little bit of oregano. All the spices I typically handle well. But that's what I was doing when I was doing keto style pizza sauce in a way. But even not just keto style. That's like what I was doing, period. Except a long time ago, I was using olive oil instead of the butter. That's the only difference. So I may end up making that clean pizza sauce at some point. I've been trying to save that until after the 90 days, but I may introduce a little bit of that and see how I handle tomatoes, and see if I can handle a little bit of tomatoes. Like, I don't want a lot of tomato, but just a little bit of like pizza sauce type thing, and see how my body reacts to that. It might be a little different. So that's what I'm saying. And that's something that you guys should think about too. Some of you that are struggling out there with I've had a few people comment, and they're talking about like either keto flu type stuff or adaptation things. Guys, keep in mind, if you're past day 14 and you're struggling with adapting to carnivore at this point, you may want to back up just a touch and sort of enter back into keto. You may need to go ahead and give your body a few carbs and a little bit of sugar. You may want to back into keto. Now, when I made the transition last year, my first attempt with carnivore, the first 2 weeks I did keto so I couldn't have that adjustment period. And I used I found Splenda. I know that's a scary word, but Splenda has a special thing called Splenda Naturals, and it's only 2 ingredients. It's like a stevia extract and another weird name that's a plant. I looked it up. It's not a chemical. It sounds like a chemical, but it's and there's no Splenda in it. It's just Splenda has there's 2 ingredients, Splenda Naturals, but that's what I used as a sugar substitute. A lot of people will run to the stevia. You got to be careful, because if you go to like Walmart and you look at a lot of the things that are stevia, every time you look at the back of the ingredients, they keep wanting to add maltodextrin in there as well. So they kind of dirty up that stevia stuff. So you got to be careful. But I did find that Splenda Naturals, 2 ingredients, both of them plant, and it's a stevia extract. They didn't add anything else. stevia extract, and then like whatever this other natural plant is. So and I used that, and I didn't use a lot of it. I just would use it in sort of desperate little times. I would make these little dessert microwave cakes, and that every once in a while in the 2 weeks, only made it a couple times. Maybe a few little sweet tea made out of that stuff. But other than that, I didn't do a lot of it, but it was enough to kind of wean me down. So some of you that are struggling to adapt, you might have to back out of carnivore just a little and just hit a little bit of that keto again. And then once you get your body sort of stabilized, then you can kind of wean yourself off of those last few carbs and those last bits of sugar, um, or sugar substitutes. But don't do artificial sweeteners like like the actual Splenda or things like that. You want to stay away from that. And then there is stevia. If you can find like pure stevia, so to speak, like when they say stevia in the raw, like again, read the back. Trust me, read the back, make sure. And if it is pure stevia, it's pretty expensive. But that Splenda Naturals, I found that at Walmart. I've got a box of them. They're individual sugar packets. It was fairly cheap. It was pretty good price, and they work good. But again, that's if you need to go to keto or whatever. Anyways, guys, I know this has been a long video. I've just had a lot of things I really wanted to get out there to you guys. I just know that some of you are struggling. Some of you may have not got to these type of feelings yet about feeling good, having that false confidence, and then letting yourself slide. And then, of course, after that, like feeling fat and like getting down on yourself. Look, you lost weight and your body's just reminding you, hey, you felt good, but hey, you still got work to do. And yes, you can sort of, you're in tune with your body, you're feeling all your fat. Now it's back to work. So let's tighten up. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow for day 69. I'm still so immature. I can't, it's hard to say 69 without laughing. Sorry, guys. I mean, like, call me a bad guy. I don't know. 69. So, sorry. See, oh, can't wait till tomorrow. Bye.